you hit your organic ceiling. What are you going to do? You're stuck at $20,000 a month every single month, and you want to scale. You want to 2x, 3x your business. I'm RJ. What's going on? Welcome back. I'm just drop a lot of business knowledge for free here on the good old YouTube. And if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner doing $20,000 a month or more, where you can't seem to break through that ceiling of $20,000 a month or more, here's a few, client testimonials, a few results I've gotten my clients over the past year and a half since I've been doing this, right? And so I've done some cool shit. You can listen to me, see what I say, right? And so the 3-line diagnosis, organic builds an audience, right? It doesn't build an enrollment system. They're two different things, and confusing them is exactly why you're staying stuck, right? You're doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result, right? And so the algorithm owns your entire business and revenue, right? You can post more and more and more, but that doesn't mean anything if you're getting the same shitty quality leads on the back end, right? And so followers do not buy buyers, right? Organic attracts people who like your content, right? Not people actively trying to solve a problem with money in hand, right? And so there's a little piece of the pie, right, for you. And that's why you're at $20,000 a month, right? And that's why you can't scale, because you're not consistently bringing in every single one of those people that are ready to buy from you, right? Unless you're positioned very, very well. And if you are doing that right now and you can't scale, then you have a different problem, right? And so number 3 is content creates awareness, not decisions, right? You can, persuade somebody so much in a certain way, but the awareness level is going to be very high. That doesn't mean they're ready to buy, though, right? They need to, understand the gap between, I like this person and I'm booking a call right now, ready to buy, right? This is, really where your revenue goes away. And so number 4, you're consistently, just saturating your own audience, right? And I don't know if you've seen it before, but launching, right? I've seen it's cool with, massive audiences, like 1 million, 2 million followers, but consistently launching to the same audience with you. You probably have 10, 20, 30,000 followers, and you have something more, then you're just attracting the wrong ICP, even in general, right? And so launching the same group more often than not is not going to make them want it more, right? And so bringing it all comes together, really attracting the wrong people to your offer, having like 5-10% of those people actually want to buy from you. That's why you're making this amount of money consistently, but you can't scale, right? Time is really the ceiling for you as well. You're doing everything, right? And if you're, over $20,000 a month at some other ceiling, $30, $40, $50,000, it's relatively the same exact thing, right? You need to incorporate a better system that is hands off, right? Whether that's ads or, hire somebody like us and bring somebody like us on to help you truly grow, with a partnership, right? And so you can't, show up every single day and do every single thing, right? That's just impossible. No one scales to $1 million a month or $100,000 a month, or even doubling your business to $40K a month if you're stuck at $20,000. No one does it by themselves, right? Except like the 1% of people, like that one guy who got like $1 billion company with just AI agents, right? But odds are you don't know how to do that, right? And odds are you're not going to get there, okay? And so let's go back to the ground zero, right? And so you don't really have a follow-up infrastructure. Yes, you through DMs, out back to people, but they probably ghost you, right? There's no built-in nurture unless you do it manually. Okay, you can do like ManyChat, but it's not very effective. Rather than getting first touches in, right? And so a lot of people just leave you on red, right? There's no consistent follow-up sequence, right? No second chances, no third chances. Everyone is just unconverted. Okay, no revenue, a lot of lost. Launch dependency, right? If you're launching 3, 4, 5 times a year or more frequently, it gets a little annoying probably to your audience, right? And at this point, it's very high leverage, or very low leverage, excuse me, very high effort and high input to get a tremendous output, right? And if you're doing it, first launch is good. The first couple of launches, usually you had success. That's why you're here right now. You got the good testimonials, right? But in order to do bigger things, you need a bigger audience with your ICP and the messaging dialed, or you need to just do something differently. Run ads, build a system, implement what's something that is going to help you grow, and not just keep doing the same thing expecting a different result, right? And so optimizing for vanity metrics is not going to get you more revenue. It's not going to scale your business as to where you really want it to be, right? And it's not going to 2x your business, it's not going to 3x, right? You could be Alex Hormozi and post an insane amount, like 200 times a week. Yes, it will grow your audience, get you more revenue. It might help you scale, but do you want to post 200 times a week? I don't think so, right? And so that's the level of commitment you probably have to do to get more people to know, like, and trust you, and to get more revenue and double, triple your business, right? And it's just about the messaging as well. You know what I mean? You could have a small audience, dialed messaging, dialed offer and positioning, and kill it, right? You might be at 30, 40, $50,000, but the people who are watching this right now at 20K a month, you might have 150,000 followers, and you're at that revenue stage, right? And so there's a big difference in between the two business owners right there, right? And so with no cold traffic, it's like I said, it's pretty hard to scale, right? You're paying for your eyeballs, right? And so you're getting somebody new every single day, multiple people, thousands of people, right? And you can grow your audience and get ready buyers at the exact same time. It's really, really cool. You do have to pay for it. That's the only downside, I guess you could say, but you are able to turn $1 into $2, $3, $4, $5, right? I've seen as many as 8x pretty consistently. I've got one of my clients 46.7x return on his money. Not typical. I'm not saying you're going to do that, but it's very, very doable if you follow a proven system, right? And so probably the main purpose and the main point of this entire video is like the system requires you every single day, and every client, every DM, every conversation, every system, every piece of content you write, script, handle, every person you manage. If you have a closer setter, you probably don't have an entire team, right? You hire a freelancer to do most of your stuff, or edit your videos, or you edit themselves. Take hours and hours every single day out of your time to not do fulfillment and just to work on something else. And you're taking yourself kind of out of the business, but you're still deep in the weeds, right? And I hope that makes sense and really hits home, because you can't scale without somebody else doing something, right? Unless you know a lot about AI, which I recommend you getting to know. You can't scale, right? Especially right now, if you're struggling with all these things, managing content, managing your time, and you're just all over the place, and you've been hitting $20,000 a month every single month or more. You're just at a ceiling. You can't get past it. You need to change something up, right? And so the one-liner, right, that I like to go past and go by, right, and all these 10 have in common, right? None of them are really fixed by posting more, right? Unless you want to post 200 times a day, like I said, be Alex Hormozi and be insane level entrepreneur. Go ahead, just click off, go ahead, right? But none of them are really fixed by a better hook or a new content strategy. You do need better positioning, right? But like most of the time, it's infrastructure, right? Because you have something that works, right? Let's break it down and keep it real. You have something that works. You have offer that works. You have testimonials, and so what can you do differently to get a different outcome, right? And so the coaches, consultants, agency owners who break through that organic ceiling, who reach 30, 40, 50, $100,000 months, they stop relying on organic and using it as a system aside of something else, right? And that's what I've really seen that has like milked revenue from offers recently in the clients that I go with, work with, right? And so they stop relying on the primary and use it as like twinning, right? And they build a system that runs whether they show up today or not, right? And so that's a real big difference, right? That's a real big difference. And I just kind of want you to realize that, right? And so it doesn't have to be so hard, right? You could bring in a system and you could build out a system yourself, right? A lot of videos on my channel here, you can go watch them. A few case studies here, if you nurturing videos, right? I withhold a decent amount of information, but like it's pretty dense and stuff, right? And knowledge, okay? But just keeping it real, there is a big difference between a business and a personal brand, right? A personal brand is exponentially important, but if you run a proper system next to it, you can be pretty profitable, right? And so if you want help with this, right, I just want to remind you, I've done this before. I've done this with multiple different clients, hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend and revenue made. Go down below. There's a link. Click a link there. Book a call. We'll give you a free audit, right? We'll see where your bottlenecks are, what you're doing wrong, and how you can fix it. Give you as much knowledge and value as possible to perhaps walk off the call feeling confident you can do it yourself, and then hopefully you try it and then realize you need a growth partner, right? And so I don't want you to waste your time or ours. Just go down below, book a call, we'll audit, and I'll see you on the next one.